there we go. We have.
Either way at that range, creep with that demonic conversion. So not really it's definitely not something you see every day, but not a huge surprise either.
We'll have to take a look at that lane a little bit later and see how that impacts DDZ, if he's still able to get that farm, or maybe he just gets slowed down by the Enigma altogether. This bottom lane in the meantime though, doesn't look like it's going to be a good one for Lance. He's playing the Gyrocopter. It's a tri-lane against a Troll, and he only has backup here from Mosin. It's not an easy lane at all. There's a good chance that he can get ganked, but the good news is that, interestingly enough, Adroit, they've decided to target Lance's lane, which under normal circumstances is just maybe what new Esports wants. Target the Gyro.
I see that. Get a toss from Boomy. Body blocks is perfect from Lance. Did they force a TP out though from Yamate? Unfortunately, he's not going to get a re-engage. A good attempt from Adroit, but this Bane is, even at level 1, he's not this confirmed kill. This brain sap is just gonna give him back 100 HP. It's gonna be pretty tough to take him down. Yamate major block just to make sure the Boomy walks the other way. But the lack of damage probably costed them the kill, so Boomy's just gonna take that homing missile in the face.
Isn't this a win for Lance though? Because normally Lance wants to have his lane attacked. He wants to have his lane basically slowed down, because Gyro, pretty good farmer after level 6, is able to clear creeps, especially neutrals, really quickly. Even then, he doesn't really need farm. It's level 6 that you want as a Gyro, because he benefits so much from levels. Of course he needs farm eventually, but he's not a carry that relies solely on farm to be effective. So is this maybe the... why would Adroit want to shut down the Gyrocopter? Why wouldn't it be to shut down, for example, Candy Loon's lane? Wouldn't Candy Loon play an even bigger role, especially during these mid-game team fights? Because you're effectively giving this Death Prophet a free lane.
I guess maybe it's just because of the fact that all the other 2 lanes, this Beastmaster and Enigma, are just more self-sustainable. But now you get a Fidget onto Ninja Boogie. No follow-up though from new Esports, so just a Wyvern would feel pretty safe. But yeah, I feel like the Enigma and Beastmaster are self-sustainable, pretty strong laners on their own. They want that solo actually to hit level 6, and at level 6, I think Primal Roar and Black Hole are just 2 spells that are way better than, compared to the level 6 from the side of the Esports. Attempt onto Candy Loon, but Candy Loon just TPs out.
Yeah, using the Avatos combo a bit early. Don't have any way to cancel it out anymore. So Candy Loon and DDZ, they're gonna more or less have their lanes. Box still being a nuisance to DDZ, and it's kind of showing, especially with the denies. You take a look at what Enigma's denied.
Avatos once more. This is the right Candy Loon down. Here comes the one last punch. Mac can hit the first blood.
Yamate TPing a bit too late, but unfortunate there. The duration for TP is a little bit too slow. So good news already for Adroit. They get their first kill, but they got to keep that ball rolling. And if they want to do that, they're going to have to make sure they come out of the lanes quite well, effectively shut down one of the new Esports lanes, and then just start pushing and pulling. Because we've seen what happens with new Esport. If you leave them to farm, once they're comfortable, they're just going to keep going at it. They don't really care about cooldowns. They're just constantly looking for opening after opening. And it looks like they're going to look for another one here onto Yamate.
Yamate, let's get the avalanche. Fidget is pretty decent, but we might just be able to toss him back. Doesn't find the range just yet. Now he finds it, tosses it back into the hands of Mac. Mac does have the board, but he has Spirit Siphon from the side of Candy Loon. The body block coming up from Boomy. He wants to save the Beastmaster, but the right click is just enough. Candy Loon just way too fast and not able to save the Beastmaster.
The body block's not enough to save the Beastmaster. Very unfortunate too, because you basically just forfeited whatever kind of advantage you had in that top lane. You've lost your own off laner. Yeah, you killed Candy Loon, but so what? Death Prophet's back and she's gonna keep on farming.
I guess another advantage of putting this Enigma mid is the fact that you have Midnight Pulse. And if Morphing goes for Strength Morph, he's gonna take more damage. If he goes for Agi Morph, you can just kill him with those Eidolons. Life is definitely slightly harder for DDZ. I think if you look at the last hit, it's nice. Bog is actually keeping up, and in fact slightly higher in terms of net worth compared to this Morphing, just mere 100 gold, but that definitely is a big win, I believe, for this Enigma, because now he has that Black Hole. They just need a decent rotation to possibly take down DDZ, and this might be it. Bog is walking forward, and DDZ is not level 6 yet, so you can see how far behind he's playing. They have the Hawk to scout him out, so DDZ has to be really careful
he knows something's up. May have actually seen Boomy rotating in.
Here we go. Avalanche, he morphs in the strength just in time, so they're not going to commit to this. They get the toss. Now the black hole, hold the column as well. But then he's damaged. West damage, Vision cancels it just in time. They do lose Mozun. Midnight Pulse is dropped down as well. So I guess it's pretty decent for Bog. They get the kill on the support.
That's going to be Black Hole on cooldown though, and especially at level 1, Black Hole has an incredibly long cooldown. So, you know,
3 minutes.
Yeah, you're going to be pretty happy. 3 minutes of free time. Don't have to worry about the Enigma. You know he's going to be farming for that whole time. We might be looking for another gank, but Boomy is a little low.
Slightly sloppy though, I'd say. They definitely tried to force it, but
Toss?
they got something in return. Now another toss. TP coming in from Ninja Boomy. Gonna body block Candido. Candido has been Cyphers with the blast. Just enough damage to take out Candido. And now Yamate not in a good spot as Mac will start running him down. They have the slow. They also see Mozun, but gotta make up your mind, people. The ball slow is just enough. Body block from Boomy just perfect. And they find another kill, this time on the Earthshaker.
I'm starting to like this momentum on Adroit. They're looking for these kills. They're being very proactive. They're getting on top of new esports whenever they try to be aggressive themselves. And I think as long as they can keep this pressure up, and they can also maintain an early net worth advantage, they should be okay. But they've got to keep it up, because you've seen what happened the moment you slow down. That's basically when new esports says it's time for us to go. It's time for us to look for kills. Let's just take all that map control away. The only difference this game is that DDZ is playing on the Morphling, a hero that's a little bit slower than the Nature's Prophet, a little bit less map presence you could argue, but a hero that is worse than Nature's Prophet overall when he gets that farm. Much more difficult to deal with, especially once he's got those big items that really turns him into a monster, especially if he gets that shotgun early. If DDZ gets that, you're going to be fighting 4v5 every fight.
Yep, and Adroit now, it's smoked out, we're running to Mozun once more. And this Bane is not going to go anywhere. He has the Nightmare, but he's standing inside the Midnight Pulse. Bot's going to wake up from that Nightmare pretty soon. They don't have much damage to work with, so Adroit with that smoke, not able to get much out of it. Mozun walks out with his life. And new esports, they buy a bit more time for themselves.
They're going to keep buying time because they're running a much later draft compared to Adroit. But the game seems very slow though compared to the last game that was just kill after kill every minute. But now it's slowed down. I think both teams want to make sure that they manage to get their early game, or at least an early game that they wanted. Tower going down in that bottom lane, going there with Natsumi, and Bok should be easy. No defense at all from new esports. They're actually abandoning that lane. Are they maybe going to counter push themselves? If you look at the map, they don't really seem poised to do anything. They're just more or less farming.
Surprised they didn't even use the glyph, since it does refresh after tier 1 goes down. So the pushing power from Adroit is definitely scary, even from early level onwards. But new esports, they have 3 members on the top lane. At the top lane, just in case they see Mac out of place. But this Hawk is just giving so much information to Adroit.
Yeah, this information is so crucial that they don't get picked off. I think that was one of the biggest issues as well for Adroit. They just got picked off from slight mistakes that turn into more or less big catastrophes. So you can see where the enemy is. It's a lot harder to make that mistake.
Oh, Necrobo also completed for Bok. He's gonna start flash farming the power of the Enigma coming online. This frees up the lane for his other teammates as well.
I want to know what Bok builds as his first main item, because he's got a Necro book already. It's probably just a simple one. Dagger first, because it looks like he might be going for those arcane boots.
Even the Mac would be decent. This Candido now manages. With the black hole, they have the Midnight Pulse. Candido is pretty much dead. DDZ is not even in a position to cancel that.
Oh, Bok must be feeling powerful this game compared to the last game we got annihilated.
It's like
other way around now.
Ogre Magi? No, I want Enigma. Here comes the push. They have the Primal Roar, and Mag is holding on to it. Know that they don't have enough damage to take out DDZ, but Yamate also in the best point. Here comes Boomy. Gets the toss into Avalanche. Great connection, but damage enough. Now Lance still gonna come in. Major follow for Yamate. Just on top of Lance. Wait for him from DDZ. Now they get the Primal Roar out. It's gonna be Lance. Lance gets tossed out once more. Gets taken down. Double kill with DDZ though. They also get Boomy in return. So a slight victory for new esports.
Slight victory. They would have liked to get more from that, but Mac was pasted. Not an easy hero to take down at all, especially once you don't have that lockdown. Speaking of lockdown, you have to say New Esports, they don't really have too many ways of stunning heroes, slowing them down, keeping them controlled. You've got Kangaroo on a Death Prophet who more or less doesn't have any kind of CC. She's already got the silence, and I suppose you could count the Spirit Siphon as a slow, but not hard slow.
Yeah.
Morphling, very mini stun, not that big, so DDC gonna be out of the question. Gyro has the rocket, I think that's pretty much it for him. But yeah, besides that, I guess they got Shaker as their main hard lockdown hero, but I'm a bit worried about this when it comes to these team fights, because I think one of the biggest issues is eventually going to be that Enigma. You've got to cancel out the black hole, and what options do you have to cancel it out? You don't have too many.
Fissure, Adaptive Strike, maybe
The silence.
Fuels? Yeah, the silence. That's pre-BKB.
Right, yeah.
Like, if he has a BKB, you are just looking at Abyssal, which is pretty much the only way. Abyssal Fiend's Grip from the from Mozun, from the Bane. That's pretty much the only ways that you have. But still, Fiend's Grip, they're gonna rip up this throw. And Sumi might not have long to look. Can they pop me out in time? No, Fiend's Grip is way too long. And find a kill on this post one.
It's not tanky enough. And this is the thing, even though Lance had a pretty rough lane, he just needed levels. At the end of the day, most of his damage early game comes from... Oh, they got him! They got him.
Centaur Conqueror, even tough. Maggie is like, go for it. Oh, here comes the Nightmare.
Lance
They have the and they found Lance. Lance has the homing missile. He's like, I gotta get out of here, but it's no luck. Lance also is gonna die.
Adroit, they hit gold in that.
That was a gold mine.
Bush, yeah. Oh man, you gotta be feeling pretty bad about that if you're New Esports. You lose two main heroes as well.
The best part is, I think that kill went over to the Beastmaster, so gonna be feeling super happy about that. You see, already building towards a pipe.
Continues. You just gotta keep pushing. You're running this Beastmaster. You may as well keep going.
Yeah, we talked about this in draft, right?
How do you stop this? You don't.
Radiant's bottom
You just gotta let it happen.
You give them an inch, they take it a mile, and you can see the Adroit, they are trying to put on more pressure. And Boomy just feels more comfortable on this tiny compared to the Queen of Pain. You can do way more. You can actually jump in and catch people off guard, where Queen of Pain, you're playing Scream of Pain, Sonic Wave, and you have to just get out. You can't soak damage. So this Tiny feels a bit more, in the zone for Adroit. And it's gonna keep doing this. The Glyph is forced out. Smoke out on the high ground just in case New Esports tries to make a cheeky rotation. We see that a lot from this team. So probably this time it's not going to be the same, but they're going to find Lance. Winter's Curse out, Midnight Fall drops right under. They're going to use the Mana Fist, Avatar, and Lance just going to get bursted down, dominating for Bob.
All the stuns in the world. And what do you do if you're Lance? Can't do anything. Heck, even the supports can't do anything. What do you expect a Bane to do in that situation if you just go for a Nightmare? You could try and Fiend's Grip, but there's so many stuns available to cancel a Fiend's Grip.
He just can't show up. This is somewhat of Adroit giving New Esports a taste of their own medicine, right? Previous game, New Esports were just teleporting around the map, finding pickoff. Well, now Adroit, they're doing the same, and in a slightly more dominating fashion because of the lane matchup. This Enigma, this Beastmaster, this Troll. They just feel more comfortable when they're winning lanes straight up. And Mac, well, he's gonna find himself another haste rune.
Beastmaster is out of control. Mac is just farming everywhere. And he doesn't care because he knows even if they try and gank him, what can they really do against that Beastmaster? He's so tanky, he's got so many ways to get himself out of a position, and there's even a chance they turn around as the Beastmaster because it's so hard to kill him. This smoke, yeah, it's gonna run into the...
New Esports likes to do this. Every time before rune timing, they will smoke up, try to kill someone and take the rune, but now Adroit knows. They know that someone from New Esports is near that top triangle.
Oh, big item gets picked up onto Boomy. You got Blink Dagger on the Tiny. That's huge. So now,
good timing as well.
Yeah. Now all Boomy needs to do, let's say New Esports don't want to fight, Boomy just comes in, tosses someone back.
And Candyloon loses his career as well. Ninja Boogie managing to find that. And Natsumi, we haven't seen much of him other than that one death from the gang from New Esports, but he just got his Battle Fury And again, 15-minute Battle Fury timing, 15-minute Blink Dagger timing. Adroit, they are hitting such a critical mass, and it's already a 6k goal lead. And if you compare to the last game, at this time, this game time, New Esports, they haven't even gotten this much of a lead. Now TP is coming in from the side of Adroit. They actually body block last. Here comes the Primal Raw though. Immediate blink in under the black hole. Gets cancelled by the side of Candy Hood. Can they get Lance out? The answer is no. Lance still dies. Mozu is going to TP out. They have the manifest. No need. They have the Central Congress Stomp. And they also have the Avalanche. Going to be a mega kill streak for Bark and Adroit. They find 2 in the bot lane.
That Centaurs of the game has been such a big pest. Just the stomps. My goodness, they're incredible. Compared to game 1, we're definitely looking at a different Adroit. I think they've probably done the right thing here. They've assessed the situation. They picked heroes that were not so easy to be countered, but they've also dealt with the lanes quite well, and they're now prepping to go for these pushes.
Well, BCC wants to do boogie, but you have a choice to do it. You gotta be careful. Gonna Adaptive Strike pushes Natsumi back. Natsumi already popped the Battle Trance. He has to find a way out. He's gonna drop the Winter Curse on him. Center con. Here he goes. The Stomp Pip, and look at that. It's waiting on him. Let's drop the Midnight Pulse. Oh man. DDZ just gets taken off straight off.
Adroit, I'm not sure. We should ask them. Do they have a mascot yet? Because I think we've got a very good candidate. My goodness, that Centaur has done so much for the team, it's ridiculous. 3 kills now, and it's been a very big one this time when DDZ's Warplane.
And what Arthur has been saying during the draft, it's starting to come true for Adroit. They've pushed on towers, they've gotten all these kills, they're playing really fast tempo. This is going to be an easy roll shot as well. 17.5 minutes in. They find a Fembrace for the side of New Esports, so we can expect that to probably go on DDZ. Mozu does see Boomy walking down that cliff, it's going to put him to sleep, but you don't really want to get anywhere close this Tiny, who has a Blink Dagger.
They should have seen this by now as well, so it's no surprise that if you're New Esports, you've just got to constantly sit back. Now,
how do you fight this?
The thing, I think the question is, how do you not lose this next fight? And I think the biggest way to sort of deal with it is that all the towers are down for New Esports. You just have to wait for high ground. The biggest advantage you have is that high ground advantage. So once they start pushing up high ground, I think that's when you need to think of a plan if you're New Esports. It's going to be tough because there's a lot of ways for Adroit to penetrate this high ground. They can always keep the Enigma at the back. They can also have Boomy on the side just in case they actually get jumped on for that high ground push. Essentially, Troll is the perfect match for this team because their issue would have been sieging, but they've picked one of the best sieges in the game.
Yeah, and they even found themselves a Vampire Fang, so Natsumi is going to feel pretty happy having that item. Implore will be on to Mac. They can smoke up again. Bok purposely being left in the open.
Who's dying today?
We're going to find out. It seems like Yamate, whoop! The smoke breaks. Boomy shows up. Yamate is gonna link away, but Boomy found it regardless. This is the Mozu. They're gonna turn on Boomy. There's a block. They're gonna try more raw. Onto Candy. Natsumi runs right in. He finds Mozu. Co-embrace, keeping Boomy alive. Center Conqueror. He does stop on Candy, but here comes the Vegan. Yamate, the Echo Slam. They get the Winter's Curse, but Adroit, they gotta start running. As New Esports, they find the perfect counter engage and they stop Adroit in their tracks.
And Yamate living on the tiniest point of health. He basically saved that team fight for his team. And this is basically what they needed. They needed to win a team fight, and because of that, they get a nice injection of gold. This push basically halted for Adroit, and the most important thing is time is now going to be on the side of New Esports. They've got to make the most of it. They've got to farm, they've got to just basically prep themselves for a potential high ground. Hold it at TP.
Oh, big Doubleman Everton left. Here comes Mozu. This is a pretty risky fight. Assuming he wakes up, gets used up as well. You can see Mozu bring around the roses. They're gonna sacrifice him. He's dead. Sacrificing toward Natsumi. A consolation prize for Adroit. They still, I think they got the outpost. Yeah, they got the bot outpost. So at least New Esports got themselves a bit of an experience injection. But maybe Boomy, he overstepped a bit in that previous fight.
I don't think it was just Boomy. It was more or less the entire team. Adroit getting a bit too excited maybe, thinking that they were much further ahead than they were actually expecting.
But now-
Because you have to remember there's always going to be the shaker factor, right?
Yeah.
You always got to be very conscientious of your positioning. You have to see where the earth shaker is. So it's actually very scary, even though you're so far ahead. One team fight, you mess up one team fight, that could be it.
Winter's Curse, Spirit Vessel on the Candy Loon, and Boomy is like, come to Papa. And he was pretty much gonna get annihilated. A great 3-man Avalanche. Boomy breaks to save Boomy. The call now is dropped, and that's the strike used as well. Boomy taking Echo and a finisher, but here comes the BKB Black Hole. They found Lance, but the Beach Game, he cancelled the Black Hole, and now Bob is gonna be held on in the base and finish him off. Adroit, they botch another fight. And New Esports are seeing the potential that they can pull off. They hold on for another time, but Yamate is not done yet. They try in, gets the fissure, the toss from DDZ. And the waveform forward to find Natsumi. It's not going to get in range. But New Esports, they bought themselves a bit more time, and it is their turn to seize.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack. Dyer's structures are fortified.
I'm a bit worried for Adroit. They've lost 2 fights now after having such a phenomenal lead. And I'm not sure if it's going to get any better than this, because what they had was perfect. They set themselves up for such a good high ground push. Mosen sacrificing himself again, but it's for the greater good. This whole team gets out scot-free. I think... Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Panic is taking over for Adroit. It was so perfect. And it was all... Everything just started going downhill when they tried to fight under that T2 mid. You've always got to be careful when you're prepping yourself for high ground. So they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
It should be guaranteed unless something catastrophic happens again.
That was the Black Hole. That was the Black Hole committed. It was a single target Black Hole on high ground. Adroit had no vision at all. They didn't even, take into consideration that this Bane still has the Fiend's Grip. So probably the jitters getting to Adroit once more. They had a decent early game. They still have the lead, but you can't continue watching fights like this. It is their game to lose. It is their fight to lose, but so far we've been seeing the opposite result of what we expected from Adroit.
Yeah, they've got to keep themselves poised. They also need to remember that the longer the game goes, you're up against a Morphling, you're up against a Gyro. 2 heroes that are incredible when it comes to a late game situation. They scale so well with items, and I think in particular, the Morphling comes online a little bit sooner than the Gyro. I think Lance right now, he wants to be a little bit more on the lowdown. He wants to get his items prepped for that really late game situation if it goes that late. And so this is DDZ's time to shine, and he's looking to grab that Ags. He's not easy to pick off, but if they do find the right opening, they could possibly burst him down at the mere 900 HP that he's sitting on right now.
Yeah, and you can see that for Adroit, after that 2 failed attempt,
they're getting a bit antsy.
they completely slowed down.
Yeah. They were the ones that had control this game. They were basically the ones in control of where New Esports could be, but it might be the opposite because you can see that there's more confidence in New Esports. They're smoking and they're looking.
Vision, the activism in the back line. Winter's Curse does get used. Avatar no damage. Here comes Yamate with the echo damage in the back line. Here comes the Black Hole though. From Bob, he catches DDZ, and DDZ is going to be sliced up. And now Ninja Buu is going to buy back. As soon as he can save by the Glimmer Cape. Center Conqueror looking for a target. It's going to be Lance. Spirit Vessel on top of in the center. It's going to run. Goes for the body block, and Lance, goodbye my friend. He's not going to get out of anywhere. And New Esports this time it doesn't work out. Adroit, they find 3 kills, and they claim the bounty on the Lance as well.
Okay, this was a much better team fight, and I think all of it comes down to maybe Yamate using that Echo a little bit too soon. He went into the back lines, he did catch out the supports, but at the end of the day, once that Echo is gone, that's basically a free ride for Enigma just to go in for his Black Hole, because there's nothing left to cancel that Black Hole.
Just look at the sieging potential from Adroit. You have
the glyph at least prolonged it, but you can only glyph however many times.
If Adroit finds another great fight, that is going to be one set of racks. And this diffuser is not paying too much dividends for Lance. They do have the science to work with, but as long as Bog has that BKB online, you are not doing anything to it. You need this Bane to make it happen.
especially even Yamate needs to make sure that he doesn't get a little bit too overconfident with the echoes, because at the end of the day, his job isn't just there to disrupt. He has to set up for somebody. It has to be for DDZ or it has to be for Lance. They need to get kills with that backline echo, because once the echo is gone, basically the echo is currently the same threat level as that black hole. Both teams have huge ultimates, but they've got to make sure that they don't happen at critical moments.
But maybe the one thing that can change the tides of battle is DDZ's new found agony scepter. The double fissure enchant totem for the fake shaker is
The fake shaker.
the fake shaker, right? What 1k extra damage? What else could you ask for?
Isn't this the scary shaker? This is worse than Yamate. If anything, I'd be more worried about the faker, if you know what I mean.
The only thing that he lacks is that imp claw, right? To one-shot the support, but this time he is Gaben not so generous, giving him that bad brace, but the dust is up. Double fissure, they find Boomy, and yeah, Boomy is pretty much going to be crushed into rubble.
Yep, you went boom, alright.
But it's going to be a great trade-off if you get this Roshan, and yeah, Roshan is pretty much going down. Daya using the scan as well, just to make sure that no one comes to the Roshan pit. And Sumi, it gets his second Aegis, and this time they give the cheese over to Mac.
That basically means high ground will be imminent.
And here's BKB. You talk about the BKB on Beastmaster, and Mac is like, okay, I'm gonna get the BKB.
Yep. I'm not sure. I'm still concerned for new esports, because there is definitely a glimmer of hope for them. We've seen that they've been able to turn these team fights on its head. But Adroit, I have to say, you have to give them props that they're learning very quickly within the span of one game after having a pretty... Let's be honest, they had a pretty shoddy game one. They probably didn't know what to expect, but after seeing how that first game felt, probably getting a feel of who was the tempo controller, who was a crucial hero with these counter initiations, I think they know they've got their priorities straight. Yeah. They know who the threats are, and so after being able to adapt so quickly, maybe new esports, they're starting to realize that they're not going against opponents that they typically would, because let's be realistic. New esports, they've been playing against opponents that they know, but also their opponents know about them. Whereas for Adroit, this is a whole new animal where...
They found Lance. There's an instant death. There comes the backline. He tries to kill, and there comes the echo, but the black hole is bigger. No fees grip means that DDZ is being held up. He just managed to get the strength hold. Doesn't matter though. Natsumi says, I'm gonna go on a rampage this time. Link in, Ryback coming in from the side of New Esports. They want to fight and toss DDZ out. DDZ gets the Malefit. Rumi is waiting, gets silenced out. DDZ waves from back into the base. They're probably gonna get Rumi in return, but Adroit, they should be happy with that. They almost got DDZ, but still a win nonetheless.
Honestly, if Yamate didn't get that echo, DDZ would have died right off the bat. But the fact that he got such a good echo on practically everyone, I mean, Enigma was BKB, he couldn't really do anything about that. But DDZ being able to survive, it was still very costly. They had to use those buybacks, and it looks like they want to make the most of this by actually smoking up and looking for another kill, and they're going to try and look for the Enigma, but they're going the wrong way. Oh no!
Oh, the fissure. He's looking for him. Oh, he's gonna find him. Oh, he blinks.
Where is he?
He blinks away.
Oh no, Lady Lane saw him.
Goodbye. At least they find this box. Maybe Manifest. Does that TP? Oh dear.
Interesting.
Oh well.
Bit questionable, because he did use that BKB whilst trying to run away.
Yeah, he didn't have the TP. And there's no Phoenix Grip, so... Well, a slight mistake, a pretty... I wouldn't say super costly death, but could have been avoided by Bok. But this is the thing, these are the things that new esports needs to do. You are far behind, but making these moves is probably one of their forte. Normally after a fight, teams just like to retreat and cool down, but not new esports. They're just gonna smoke up and continue looking for pickoff. So this buys a bit of time for Adroit, but for new esports. But fortunately enough for Adroit, they are not too worried because Black Hole is on cooldown anyways. Fresh Heaven's Halberd on Lance, another item you just don't normally see on a gyrocopter alongside the diffusal.
It's really strange because it seems like Lance, he's building semi-utility on the gyro. He's trying to act as that backup for DDZ. So it seems the plan is just make sure DDZ gets everything off.
Goodbye,
That was a beautiful t-shirt.
Yeah, and a straight Fiend Spirit, but no Nightmare, no Fiend Spirit. Natsumi, that's the green light, it's gonna beat Mozun to death. And that's the dieback for the Bane. Another Phaser coming in from DDZ, trying to go to Natsumi, but the Primal Roll up. He cannot walk the time, it's not his straight form. They beat him to death. Better now he gets used. Yamate runs the wrong way, and that is gonna be a graveyard he goes. And now Kenny with the spider legs will be able to run down the cliff, but oh, what a horrible fight for New Esports. And props to Natsumi, he recognized that no Nightmare, no Fiend Spirit, alright, I'm going in. And that's 3 kills for Adroit.
Yep, he's also got Aegis as well, so even if he died, there was a chance that they could have continued fighting, but that was some really good decision making. I was a little bit worried there for Adroit. I was thinking, oh my goodness, are they going to possibly throw it away? But decisions were made now that there's no Echo. They were potentially going to force a buyback onto DDZ, which is huge on the Morphling, by the way. He doesn't want to be spending that gold. And the thing is, Lance by himself without support backup, what does he do? He's just a cooldown bot now.
Yeah. Well, repair kit plus glyph to keep that tier 3 alive for a bit more. Mozun coming back in 6 seconds, but this is going to be a set of rags for sure. The core, they meet DDZ, but DDZ is not up for another 20 seconds, so Aegis runs out for Natsumi. So they have to be careful of that. Here comes the blink right in. Box just teasing that black hole, gets used up, but they get the Primal Roar and Kenny gets Nightmare, but then Nightmare just going to send him into the outer realm of darkness. As Natsumi, it's his turn to be beyond godlike.
Lose that last Rex there. DDZ does spawn back, didn't use his buyback. Now Adroit, are they going to get greedy?
They have black hole, they can be ready to blink with his gust. They're going to find Lance Avalanche to prevent Yamate from blinking in, so no echoes for now. Double figure coming in onto Natsumi. He got the blink in, the black hole again! He catches DDZ! DDZ! It's not his strength, and he's gonna die again for another long period of time! This time it's 80 seconds. They do kill Natsumi though. Natsumi goes down as Adroit will have their attempt stop counted for now, but another avalanche charge just to buy a bit more time. Favorite from Yamate. They get Spirit Siphon onto Mag, and Mag will be slowly chipped down to death. Kobe is keeping him alive for a bit more. That heal, it might be a bit enough. Mag, can he fight back? No, he can't. They have the right click, they find him. But Boomy now with Spider Legs and Glimmer Cape will try to make his way out. Should be pretty easy. Mozun tries to find the Nightmare, but Boomy is already out. And New Esports, they hold on to their base and they get 3 members from Adroit.
The patience. The absolute patience from New Esports. I'm not sure if maybe they're doing this intentionally or not, but I think they're trying to feint they're trying to lure them in and make them think there's no buyback on DDZ. Because this is very a-characteristic for DDZ. Normally, he's the kind of player to buy back instantly once he knows the team fights can turn around. But he's been holding on to this buyback for 2 team fights. Now, I'm only thinking one of 2 things. He's trying to feint them to make them think he has no buyback, or the other option is he really just wants to hang on to the buyback. Or he wants to buy something, but we'll have to see once we check him if he's very close to buying something, or if potentially he's just going to really hang on to the buyback and make Adroit think that Morphling doesn't have that buyback.
Yeah, I think generally he just wants to hold on to the buyback, because if he buys out now and he gets caught out, that is just going to be catastrophic. And you saw how Adroit, they are not too worried of getting a single target black hole as long as it is one of the cores. Preferably DDZ, they've caught it twice without him able to morph into strength form. First time with the Primal Roar and then with the black hole. If they can catch him one more time, he's gonna be forced to buy back, and if he doesn't, then New Esports will have to fight 4 versus 5. But they did find Boomy, and Boomy is going to go down once more on the wrong side of the map.
I mean, it's just Boomy, but at the end of the day, kills the kill, which is ideal there for Adroit. Also, DDZ, he is looking to get himself a Lincoln Sphere as his next item choice.
Yeah, you just have to tick all the boxes right now, because if it's not the black hole that kills you, it's the Primal Roar, it's the Winter's Curse. So the ability to at least get rid of one of those spells is going to be a game changer, but Adroit, they have their cooldowns all available. Boomy might not be around, but it's possible for them to win a fight. They found Kenny blinks away. That's the fresh blink dagger, but he gets Primal Roar, and look at the damage from Natsumi. The Dead Prophet, that's a dead Prophet.
Is that a dieback?
I think so.
I think he bought back in that previous fight too.
They got the Nightmare onto Mag, but Mag with the Wild Axe is just gonna spot out where Mozun is, and Mozun Wow, they're gonna track him with the Hawk. Modem tries to TP. Nope. Just, oh, there we go. Looks the wrong way, but still a core being taken down. And that's also the Blink Dagger reveal for Candyloon. He just got the Blink Dagger, but unfortunately, he was not able to put it into good use.
Yeah, no one was nearby as well to help him out. He was quite far from his team.
Still 2 more big spells. You have a Winter's Curse and the Black Hole. And Black Hole is something that Lincolns cannot do anything against. Center Conqueror also right in front of the front line. Yes, the Lincoln Spear. No glyph, that tower is pretty much going to be taken down as Adroit now start to work on the second set of racks. They have the Halberd, but Lance doesn't really want to walk forward. They Nightmare out Natsumi, but the Adroit takes it away. Corner also uses as well. They're expending everything, but they still end up losing that melee rack.
What can they do? Without Candyloon, they just don't feel confident enough to fight into that black hole. I like what Yamate is doing though. He's trying to hide under the guise of that Shadow Amulet to see if maybe he can get that surprise echo.
Yeah, but right now it's just Adroit. It almost feels impossible for Adroit to ever lose this game. They really have to make a huge mistake and, you know, have no buybacks and let New Esports run down the mid lane. Because with such a huge lead, they're gonna break the smoke and they find Lance. Lance is standing in front. They get Fiend's Grid. Double Fissure again, but the Battle is gonna take it all away. And here comes the Primal Roll to Molten, and Molten, what a gruesome death. DDZ wants to get away. He will be able to hide with the help of the Smoke of the Sea. But the bigger target is Roshan. And it seems like Adroit, they know their priorities, and they're gonna force the buyback from Lance as well.
When they fight in the Roche pit though, they still have to worry about the presence of that black hole. Rock is always going to be ready with it.
And there's a Winter's Curse as well.
A lot of things waiting for them in that Roche pit.
Is it a refreshing shot or an axe? Oh, so good. Yamato is around. DDZ? He brings it? Doesn't get the ages. Found him. Winter's Curse on top of Yamate. They found DDZ as well. Ended it with BKB and the actually just goes right in. But here comes the Black Hole! And bomb! He steals the kill for Adroit. It seems like there's nothing much that New Esports can do. Maybe Canyon has been cyphered, but Natsumi, you need this go down. The Lance he bought back. There's a tie back for 110 seconds. And Canyon is gonna run. This Dead Prophet has nowhere to go because Boomy found him with the avalanche. Just get the use to buy a bit of time, but you have 2 members of Adroit on your tail. And I think Adroit doesn't really care too much. They just want to pet the KDA. Canyon blinks into the tree lines. They go for a TP, West the avalanche, they find him. It's just a bit short. Canyon makes it out with his life, but hey, you know what? Natsumi is already knocking on the front doors of New Esports.
Who's going to defend home?
Here comes a buyback from both DDZ and Yamate. They finally forced him out.
Desperations. You can sense that desperation. This is their last hurrah now.
Yeah,
they don't win this next team fight, that's basically it.
There's Primal Roar available. Nightmare taken away again. Second fader comes in. DDZ trying to go for a bit of a chip. But you're dealing with an Aegis and a Satanic, and just look at Natsumi. He's like, I'm ready for round 2. There goes the last high ground tower, last tier 3 at least, as Boomy blinks in, tries to find Canyon, but he gets used up. Force them to keep him safe. That Rex is down. Yamate patiently waiting with that Shadow Amulet. They might have seen it with the Hawk though, not really sure, as Natsumi takes out that 5th Rex. Just one more in the middle lane. One last right click as Max blinks in, finds the Primal Roar onto Canyon. They're gonna ignore that Rex and toss back in for Boomy again. Double, triple man avalanche. Big drop. It's good. And DDZ forced to kill off his own teammate. That's Mega Creep and Adroit. We're gonna stare down the tie. You see that Canyon might not make it out as well. DDZ already out. He say, I don't want to be a part of the Suicide Squad. And Adroit, they're gonna force the GG out and they equalize that series. They take game 2 away from New Esports.
The score ends up being 1-1, and Adroit, I have to say, very impressed with how quickly they actually adapted up against New Esports. I want to say at the end, props to Natsumi. The moment he